Right, there we are. I can do it manually. Right, it was a year ago I sat in there and asked that silly question and ended up on the board. So now I'm here trying to explain why I'm still sane, I think. But how many people actually read the message board? Lots of you. How many people contribute to the message board? Excellent. That's what we like. Good. So now...
Who's who?
Which one is Happy Who is Happy Anybody admit? No, we'll come to them later on. Anyway, what we're going to try and do today is actually give you the facts of where we are, where we're trying to get to, and how we need your help to get us there. So the budget assumptions. When we put the budget together, we actually put in the budget a loss, because we still had some legacy payments from the last regime, and the loss was underwritten by the directors in the hope that we wouldn't have to write a cheque to underwrite it. So we went for a loss. I think we got carried away thinking that the centenary gods were up there looking down on Cambridge United and saying, in this year is going to be magical. We're going to win the FA Cup, the trophy, get promoted, and everything will come right for this club that's had a few bad years. At the moment, someone has been doing something wrong, so if you could start sort of looking after the gods, they might come back. And I think we also thought, oh well, 2,500 people keep coming along, companies sponsor us, we're immune from the economic climate. The reality is a bit different. So in the budget, we assumed gate receipts. And I see on the message board, people seem to know what we assumed, the figure, that they all know what the figure was. And I think at one fans forum, I said it was 2,650. Now that was based, because obviously if you put a sum of money in, how do you know how many youngsters are going to come, how many concessions and how many adults? And we'd also up the some of the prices by £1. And so the assumption was, we thought about 2,650. Now after the first 8 or 9 matches, we're actually finding that our gate receipts budgeted equate to 2,450. And if you think last year, our average was 2,453, that's not bad, is it? A reasonable starting point. We're not looking at 3,500 and some of the things that have been put in the past. 2,453. So if those three who haven't come this year can stand up and come to every match, then we'll be up to last year's average. We assumed FA Cup 1 game. Thanks, Richard. That's what we did.
I always like to meet budget.
Exactly. Trophy, 2 games. So far. Right. Now, the gates, if we take out all the youngsters that come, and I'll explain that in a minute, we're averaging 2,150. Now, that equates to 4,000 a match. Now that doesn't sound too bad, does it? Per match. 25 matches, 100,000. All of a sudden, your income starts to hit because we're 300 down on what we were hoping would come through the gate. So it just shows how massively, on a 1.3 million turnover, you can actually lose a hell of a lot of the income that you're expecting to come in. I've already done this joke. So successes this year, and there have been some, because I'm talking off-field. The shop and ticket office, look at the range of goods we've got. We've now got an online shop, and John Bilbao, the CFU, has set all that up, and online ticketing. The shop has done 4 times the turnover so far this year as a whole of last year. Now that's a massive effort, and people are all going around coming in. The other match, we did £2,000 on match day, which is an incredible feat in this day and age. So Julie Clark, who now runs it, Carol's there as ever, and others are all doing that and making it happen. The Dublin suite, Andy and Jason We're getting this hard out more, not enough, and we'll come back to that later. But on a Saturday now, there's more of a buzz in here, and we're actually getting people in. When I used to come here, it was a Harris suite, and you couldn't get in unless you had a ticket. And then you looked in, and no one was here. Oh, we can't come in, mate, because we haven't got a ticket. Actually, once you get through that gate, I want you to spend and have a good time. We want you to come in. Tea bars. Last year, it was contracted out, so it didn't matter how much you spent, because it didn't come to us. We only got £1,000 a match. I think for the other game the other week, we did £5,000 of tea bar sales for one match. So it just shows how we can actually increase income that's not directly related to tickets. This is an interesting one. People said to me, oh, you've given all your tickets away so all the youngsters can come. And why did you allow them to sponsor a game? Well, what happens is the Youth and Community Trust buy tickets off us. Is it 700, 800?
By 500 tickets a game.
Yeah. 500 tickets a game, and then sell them. If they make a profit, it goes to the Youth and Community Trust, but we get £2,500. So for the game against Tamworth, the club got 2.5, the trust made a profit of about £700. So therefore, it actually is our new fan base, it's youngsters. I got hooked at 7, most of you probably got hooked about the same time. Getting the youngsters in is what we need to do. We need to increase the fan base for the future of this club. Teamwork. See, if you, as I said, have already done a lot, look at things like the book that Russ Greaves and Dave have produced. VPs are working hard with us now to increase money and contribute into the club. And with the supporters club, I get welcomed in there to ask to clean the kitchen because we've left it in a mess from the Saturday. So it's very welcoming and we enjoy it. But we're working with people off the pitch. And we've reduced the running costs, as I explained before. We're getting all the utility bills and that down to the optimum. So we're actually trying to keep the cost down whilst increasing the revenue. And the big things we've got to do is get non-match day income up. And Richard was saying just before this that Walsall make most of their money non-match days because they're experts at getting out there and getting their premises used Monday to Friday. So that's why we employed him.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Right. Areas for improvement involving more local businesses. Now, some of you will have seen we've produced a brochure which explains all the sponsorship activities. Also about weddings for people that want a wedding for £1,000. You know, it's quite cheap, isn't it, really? But then you've got all the costs, ongoing costs after you're married. So, yeah, don't be taken in by that. As a recently divorced person, according to the message board, who's got a sad life, just to put the record straight, I have a very happy life. What we're doing is, with all the businesses in with 3/4 mile, we're actually going to give them an invite, a voucher to come to the Ebbsfleet game to enjoy the hospitality here at the buffet and trying to get them to encourage them to actually join in and sponsor. Because you can do it from £75 if you want to be a mascot or a moose, but then Robert, you wouldn't fit into the costume.
What are you saying?
What? Yes, anyway, we do extra large. But trying to get people to see that this club is active, alive and kicking. For too long we haven't been out there trying to sell what this club has got. And we're actually contacting companies that said, well, you know, we hoped you'd contact us. Now, if any of you want to take these because of your businesses and what have you, to get your company to come to the Ebbsfleet game, 2 exec tickets, extra tickets at £35 each, do it, because I've got some here for you to take away with you, because I need all you to help us make this happen. Social networking. Most of you go on the message board. That's great. Actually, what I want you to actually do is go out and sell the club, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook and all the other things. So we're actually developing our social networking skills. I think if you've been tweeting or twittering lately, you'll see we're a lot more active on that field. So you can help us by retweeting. I don't know what the hell I'm on about, but it's... mobilising our fan base. Now that doesn't mean just mobilising our fan base and getting them moving, but actually we need, as I say, we need you to help us. This is your club. It's so easy to say, oh, the club's not doing this, the club's not doing that. You're our part of the club, so come along the journey with us. Increase in non-match day income. I've explained what we're trying to do. You know, today there was a networking meeting in here. Yesterday, a funeral today, and so we're trying to make sure this place is used. There's 176 car parking spaces, so you can use it for business meetings and everything else. Increase that, then obviously it means that the number of fans that we need through the gate to break even starts to decrease, because our percentage of income is less match day related. What I've noticed since becoming MD is I don't watch the football anymore, I just count the number of people that are here. Now I'm fed up with that, actually I want to watch the football. Good, just hold on there, it's gone to sleep. Right, so you can see, potentially 100,000 down in revenue from match day, plus all the add-ons. So we've got to balance the budget, because if you add that onto the loss that we started with, all of a sudden we start to get out of control. So balancing the budget has meant we've had to reorganise and restructure the business, some off-field and some on-field, and we'll do the on-field later on. But so we've got to make it so that we're actually more focused on what we're doing to make sure that the income comes in, and therefore we have sort of tried to do that as well. So lessons learned. The financial impact of the economic downturn means that people can't, if there's 2 or 3 matches in a fortnight, afford to come. So therefore people are deciding which matches to come to. We didn't put that into the model. Companies haven't got the money to actually sponsor like they used to. So all of a sudden you're being impacted on a couple of times. The centenary effect. I for one was disappointed at the attendance at the Dion Legends game. You know, here was an opportunity to see all the stars of the past, and what do we get? Just over 2,000?
Just over 1,000.
Just over 1,000 people turned up. Now to me that was a shame, because everybody who came thoroughly enjoyed it. But it also makes a warning signal that, hold on, that's not necessarily going to encourage people to come, and therefore we need to be careful. We did a centenary draw for sponsorship round the ground. Again, companies didn't join in. You know, we thought £500 go into a draw, about 30 companies did. And you sort of think, hold on, what's happening here? And we only raised about just under 15,000, not the 25 that we hoped we could be doing. CFU have launched a lottery. The beauty of the lottery is helps the club, helps the Youth and Community Trust, helps local charities. What have we got so far? 80 members? It's very disappointing, the take-up. But you know, so that would have done good everywhere. It's £2 a week, and a lot of effort's gone into getting that and getting it going. And I, for one, was a bit surprised at the dramatic impact of results on attendances, because I'm one of those odd sods that when we're losing, actually I make the effort to go. Because I don't consider myself a follower, I consider myself a supporter. So I was at Altrincham for 5-0, I was here for York 5-0, and I travelled down from York to see York beat us 5-0. How bloody stupid is that? I was at Bath for Martin Ling's last game. But, you know, a lot of people, once the results go down, attendances drop. Now, I can understand why, but it's actually quite surprising how quickly they drop off. So what we're going to do next year is get the budget as close to 2,000 gates as we possibly can for break even, so that I can enjoy the game. It's a very selfish motive, this, but I just want to be able to sit there and say, that's good, we've got a bonus, not how we're going to find that 4,000 quid. We're going to go for a budget that's break even. Selfish again, because I'm a director and I don't want to keep writing a cheque. The challenge for Jez and Richard is that the football expenditure is going to have to match what our budget says. So therefore, how can we achieve a competitive budget, a competitive team, within what the club can afford? There's no use trying to gamble. We haven't got a Forest Green man here, we haven't got all the others. We've got an honest bunch of directors that are trying to make this club successful, with a whole group of you that want to help us. That's why you're here tonight and not watching Coronation Street. Or is that not on a Thursday? And then, when we start to get 2,100, we'll strengthen the budget based on a financial strength, not on a gamble. Because if we're going to go sustainable, this is what we've got to do. So what can be achieved? Now I'm calling this the 1,000 Challenge, because I think there's 1,000 nutters like myself that are willing to do anything to help this club. Now surprisingly, has everybody got a friend? If 1,000 of you had a friend, and for some of you it's obviously a struggle, and you bring them to 3 matches a season, that's all we're talking about, that could raise £50,000 extra in income through the gate. £15 a ticket. Obviously if you're a child it's not going to raise as much, but you can see the logic. That's all you've got to do, encourage your mates to come. It's not a difficult thing. We've got some big matches coming up and we'll talk about the trophy in a minute. So that would help. The trophy. What do we say on message board? Tin pot. Oh yeah, I don't remember us getting to the final of the FA Cup, do you? Are we likely to? No, because we're out in the 4th qualifying round. What's the next trophy down? Oh, it's the FA Trophy. Now Colin sold the trophy cabinet, but it says if we win the FA Trophy, he will build a new one. Now I wouldn't trust him to hold a trophy, but that's another matter. York City, when they got to the final, made £200,000. Tin pot trophy, £200,000 out of £1.25 million. So get along here on the 15th against Gateshead, help Richard and the team get through to the next round and on to the next round. So help us progress by getting behind the team, not saying it's a tin pot bloody competition. Help us market our facilities. And you know, if you work for a company or what have you, get these brochures out there, encourage them to come along to the matches. We'll do everything to make sure it's a good occasion. Derek was here for his 70th. I thought it was his 60th, but it was his 70th. And he had a great day, didn't he? And we won. So he's now coming to every match and having hospitality until we lose. Book your parties like Derek did in the Dublin suite. Why go into town where there's no parking or anything? It's good fun here, isn't it? You know, have your parties in here.
Dublin's better.
Dublin's better. Yes. Get married at the Costins. If you want, book your funeral wake in advance. There's not a problem, you know. You can have your christening party here, you can have your 18th, you can get married, and then you can die here. What could be better in life? So what can be achieved? Now, the boys from the Toast Rope, I've got part of this slide wrong. Keith and his 5 friends, do what? They sponsor Jonathan Thorpe home and away. They do the Doggett sponsorship, Nuneaton hospitality, and the 6th, and they're bringing 30 of their friends, half of Mount football supporters, to the game on the 22nd of December as their Christmas treat, right? And the 6 of them have brought in £2,000 into this club in a year. Now, if all groups of fans did that, all of a sudden your financial difficulties start to disappear. The train drivers. Just to make it clear, I don't do train spotting, as it was said on the message board. I couldn't tell you a Deltic from a mallard. All I did was work on the railway. The train drivers. Sponsor 2 players. Doggett sponsorship. So they do the same. So get your friends together. Gina and Richard. Do you know about Gina and Richard? Yeah? Where do you think they live? Newmarket Road? Of course they don't. They live in Munich. How many games do they miss a season? 3 or 4. They fly over. Now, okay, you could say they need to go for assessment. They sponsor Liam and they come to matches. That's what I call a supporter. Those 2 are across there and they come in and they spend in the shop and they just love it. Now, that's the sort of thing, to me, if some of you can emulate what they do, look what a difference it will make to the club. And they do hospitality. Right, what we're doing here, after the Grimsby game, we're doing a casino night with the help of the Vice President's Club, so come along to that and lose money. Darts, Eric Bristow, who's in the jungle, is he? Or out of the jungle? Stuffed up somewhere.
Is he still there?
Is he still there? He's coming in February, and we're going to have a darts night. And then in March we're going to have a comedy night, so that people can start to say, oh, let's go along and support us in here. Christmas shopping at the club. Now, I know for most wives and girlfriends it's very difficult to know what to buy. You don't need to worry. You do all your Christmas shopping at the club. There's easy parking, discount for season ticket holders. If you're not a season ticket holder, get one, then you get your 10%. And you can do it in 2 hours. That's what I did last year. I've been told by my friends and family they do not want any more. Hard luck. Join the Play to Win lottery. You know, you can have an experience. Calendar is out next week. It's great, buy it. Got all the fixtures on. Tells you what happened this day during our 100 years of history. You know, these are the sort of things where you can help. Extra Christmas presents, that little stocking filler, you don't need to worry. So, what I'm trying to say to you is that from the boardroom to the terraces, if we actually work together, we can get through this and make this club an example for the rest of the world to look at as a sustainable club. Let's look forward, let's have a bit of fun, let's be positive, optimistic. You know, I know it's easy to look at the negative side of life, but actually it makes you ill. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. So all start smiling and get behind, and a we can attitude. It makes such a difference on the pitch where everybody is supporting the team. You know, some of the negativity that comes out of part of this ground to some of our youngsters, I'm ashamed of sometimes, because they should be supporting them. They're 18, 19, 20-year-olds. What is the point in getting rid of your anger on them? Get behind them and support them. If they make a mistake, let them put it behind them and move on. We need energisers, not energy sappers. This was on last year's. You've noticed that. I got tired by this time. So, you know, we do have people who love to criticise. We're a positive club going forward. We're trying to do the best. We want to be successful. And this is why. Board of genuine fans, committee staff, a plan, core fan base, youth system second to none, and the potential to move into a new stadium. 9 choices, aren't there? Grosvenor are our landlords, and we've got memorandums of understanding. Therefore, we are with Grosvenor at the moment, because otherwise we won't have anywhere to play football. So I'd rather be there. All the other sites are lovely, but we've got to be realistic. We're with Grosvenor. So, quick reminder of the games, not that you need to know. Gateshead, 8th of December, 15th, the big one. Get people here. Let's get behind the team. 22nd, all sorts of things going on. We've got Shepworth Wild Animals here. It's an everyone active day, which is always a bit tricky for me, but you know, it's time to come along and get behind us. It'd be nice for a Boxing Day game, but we haven't, so start the new year here on Saturday the 1st of January. They're the things to do. The shop and ticket office now open Monday, Friday and on match days. Christmas now opening late night Wednesdays until 8, Sundays 10 till 2, starting this Sunday. So therefore, do your Christmas shopping early. Go back to the previous slide, then you haven't got to go drag around the shops on the 18th, 15th and 22nd. No excuse. This Saturday there isn't a match, CRC in the afternoon, Christmas shopping in the morning. That's what it's all about. Going forward together, that's what we're trying to say, and we want your help as we do it, and we will get there. Any questions? Now Mark Johnson is here, and he will rove with the mic.
Did you say we took £5,000 one week from the paid T-bars?
Yeah.
What's profit on that? What sort of profit do you make?
Well, we're looking on that at about 3,000.
I know Robert wants to have some questions sent in as well. Yes, thanks, Dave. Yes, I had a load of questions that were posted on the message board. It looks to me as though you've actually been looking at the message board because you've answered almost all of them, which is nice. But one of the posts said, the club's clearly been undergoing some deep cost-cutting exercises recently. This is, of course, only half the battle. And what initiatives are the club exploring to grow revenue?
Okay. Well, I think I've probably explained a lot of them. You know, it's actually exploiting this room and the directors' lounge and everything else, trying to get in, get people in, and this is where we need your help. You know, people said about the perimeter boards not being there, and actually they haven't been paid for. So I thought, you know, so you can actually have a good company, and they don't. Perimeter boards are quite expensive. It costs you about £500 or £600 to have them made. You can actually get banners that you can get for £100. So it might be your company just wants to have something for a month. So rather than for a year, you can actually rotate it that way.
Any more?
On maximising income, we lost out on the Luton FA Cup game attendance-wise. Most people say it's because of season ticket, because of the all-ticket game. Is that the police decision? Is it our decision?
Yeah.
If it's the police decision, are we serving for loss of earnings? If it's our decision, have we learned a lesson?
Unfortunately, it's in discussion with the police, but I think there's ways where we can actually persuade the authorities that we can actually manage it better in the future. You've got to remember, I'm quite new at this game, and therefore some of the processes I've just accepted. And if you think the other week we actually had away fans and home fans in the South Stand, that was a change from where we've been. So it's one of those things that it was disappointing. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to actually buy tickets. 1 o'clock kick-off, you know, it's awkward for some, but then if it was Man United, everyone would be here, wouldn't they? Is it our, at the end of the day, if the police say no, the authorities decide, and they said no. So it's we've got to persuade them rather than.
Just say one thing with that. I know it's saying it was a disappointing crowd. It was the best crowd of the whole round.
Yeah.
And
because everyone was paying.
Yeah, no, but it was the best, the highest attendance in any game in the whole country. And when you look at FA Cup crowds everywhere, because of the fact that the FA Cup's lost a little bit of its perhaps grown in the last few years. Crowds are down, aren't they?
Even Wrexham, we normally get 5,000, had less.
Yeah, we had the biggest crowd in that round.
I think you've also got, if you look, John Moore's done some analysis of crowds in the Blue Square and the Football League, and everybody's down 10-15% this year. There is a general drop-off because if you think the wages haven't increased for a few years, people are having to make decisions. And it's easy if you're winning, people will find that £15 or that £10. When you're losing, oh well, I won't bother. So, you know, you can understand it, but there is a definite drop-off in crowds because of the cost of going to football. You know, as I say, with Gene and Richard coming across from Munich, that's quite an expense. But also, you know, I'd like to pay tribute to the away travel club that Carol manages. The number of people, even on a Tuesday in Newport, what was it, 82 people went to watch that game. Yeah. You know, it made it quite a long journey home, but you keep your spirits up, don't you, Mark? so you but then you go to Villa Ricky in the rain, and Mark's there trying to keep his microphone dry, and then we go and win, you know, so professionally, and really made us proud to be, you know, following the club. So that's all the fun of being a fan, you know. Altrincham on a Tuesday night, 6-0 defeat. Yeah. I remember going to Macclesfield for an LDV match when there was about 25 fans in. I travelled from York. I got searched at the turnstiles because they thought I was going to do something. I had something in my pocket. For goodness sake, you know, all I wanted was a concession to get in. Okay, if there's no more questions.
On the motion of the facilities, the Dublin Street one, have you? Do you think that you're holding the club back by charging £200 for room hire? Would you not be better by waiving that, like other clubs, like the City does, which I know they're taking bookings that we should be taking?
I think in here we've actually taken off a lot of the prices, and we actually now are starting from that premise that we'd much rather people come in, use the bar, and we actually get people in and use it on that basis. So Andy, the 200 is not the standard.
No, it's not. No, it's not anymore. Someone wants to hire it. I've got about 150 drinking using it, and it's a little bit fragrance.
So we are trying to be more flexible. Just a point on Andy, because for the Gateshead game, the trophy game, he's filled it up with a Christmas party here after the match. So that means on match day he'll be in at 6 o'clock getting the tea bars ready and everything, do the match, and then he's got this Christmas party where everyone's going to, do sort of the old Tweety song and all that, and he's got to put up with that till 2 in the morning. And people like him, why I carry on doing this, because they put in so much effort. And when I see some of the disappointing comments from people like him put hours in to try and make this work. People on the football side, we're not all sat here twiddling our thumbs. We're actually trying to make this work, and we need you to help us make it work.
You're losing or have lost Claudine at a time when you're trying to raise revenue and find new income streams and so on. Can you tell us what's happening in that area?
Yeah, we're now sort of getting more help from more people. So we've actually, in the restructure, we've sort of mobilised everybody to be responsible. So people like Andy and that, we're all working together. We've got several people from CFU and other volunteers that are helping us get out there. I won't go into personal circumstances, but we are where we are, and now we're making sure that we actually get out there and sell our facilities.
Is it not a professional job to have someone doing that?
Yeah, Claudine is still with us until next week. So then,
she's not presumably working.
No. Well, she's been working from home, but so it's from next week when we need to look. But obviously, if you're losing £4,000 a match, it's a balancing act in. And at the moment, we're pushing on this one, and then we'll review to see what extra staff we need to get in.
If we're budgeting on 2,000 gates for 13-14, does that mean that if it's looking part way through the season that they're significantly higher than that, that the profit would be invested in players?
Yeah, it's all about strengthening from a position of strength rather than from a position of weakness. Yeah, and people can have, there's several people in here that are in the share save scheme that give money every month and actually have shares. You know, people can do that. There's several people that hold a significant number of shares. You can do that. You won't get much return on them, but you can do it and help. So there's all sorts of ways that people can help the club. One over at the back there.
With all that's been said, Dave, about the financial situation, has the club sort of looked and thought about their pricing structure, match day pricing structure?
Yeah. And one of the areas I'm a bit concerned about is 16 to 19-year-olds. 16-year-olds that have left school will go from an under 16 price straight to an adult price. And I think it's something we need to be looking at there because students get concessions, don't they? So it's something we need to look at. It's a difficult one because it's back to the revenue. As I say, the £1 extra significantly increased the gate receipts, and it's how you balance that out. You know, I know Keith is one of the boys from the Toast Rack, and he sent me through an idea commercial that we'll start looking at as well, because I think there's so much more we can do to be different from other clubs that can actually start to do it, because it's all right, perimeter boards and player sponsors and everything, but let's think of other ways which are slightly different and a bit more exciting and make sure we deliver as a club. Because one or two sponsors have said, well, you haven't delivered on what you said. We haven't met the players. We haven't, you haven't done and made it worthwhile. That's sponsoring. So we need to make sure it is worthwhile sponsoring the club and you get something back for it. Okay? Well, shall we have a break now?
Before we do, I think, although I'm BBC chap, I know we need a word from one of our sponsors.
Thank you. Dave, you talked about the CFU and the play to win lottery. We do need more people to
stand up.
Why not just shout? Deal with that microphone and I'll speak. The play to win lottery is something that has big potential for this club. As you say, Dave, at the moment we've got 80 members of it. We will not make a lot of profit for the club on 80 members, but £2 a week from everybody in this room. Maybe you're members already. If you are, thank you. It will go a long way. And we need to sell this lottery not just within the club, because potentially it's a good thing for anybody to win cash prizes, monthly accumulator, prizes that money can't buy. For us, that means a trip with the team, or it means going to see them at training, or it means something that's football related. For people who aren't football orientated, we can do other things. John's got a whole list of things that he can offer people as prizes. But we do need people to get involved, and if you want to get involved and you're not involved, come and see us at the Caravan. We'll give you a form, we'll take your money happily, and the more people who get involved, the better the club will do. We need to build it. The idea of it is not to run it on a small number of people who always come to the club, because it's the same money, isn't it? The same people, the same money. You'll put the money in anyway, hopefully. But we need to spread it so that people who are not part of the club think it's something that's worth joining. So if you're not involved yourself at the moment, please get involved. Take some forms, tell your friends, get them involved. And then the thing will build on itself because it will be successful. You've seen people winning prizes at match days, people who won cash prizes. Derek got his picture in the paper and everything. But if you can help us to do that, and we can build it, and actually we can make quite a lot of money for this club, and it will be really good. Thank you.
Can I just ask one thing on that?
Please do.
I'm one of the 83 apparently.
Oh, yeah.
But when I filled the form in, I don't believe there was anything on there that said how many tickets you want. Can you have more than one?
As many £2 as you can afford, yes.
Because I thought, well, after I've done it, I thought, well, actually, I'll probably do it through.
I think it's with a lot.
For each entry, you will get a unique number.
Yeah, I know.
That's the
Yeah.
way we.
All I was saying
If
is,
you've got
first
one
we need to
number,
think about the form.
right.
Think about that form.
I think
Yeah.
the form, if you're just trying to get people coming
Yeah.
into the match to fill it in, who knows their bank account and all the details, somehow we need to make it a bit easier.
We do need to make it simple, yes, you're quite right. We'll be looking at that shortly.
There are ways to make
Yeah.
a credit card payment pretty soon,
Yeah.
Right.
and the reason the form is complicated is because of the bank details. You do need a form for each entry, but entries are only, you can have as many entries as you like, but because each number is unique, we do have to have a separate form. It's just the admin of it. But as you say, it can be massive, and I'm not joking. We're talking about tens of thousands of pounds that could make this football club.
Yeah.
If it
Well,
takes.
everyone says it was
And
the
that's
United
not
Pools
I
that
know,
made
it
this
did,
club.
and it did years ago.
The 60s, the United Pools made this club.
Now, I've just been getting a sign from over there. I know I thought there was going to be 10 minutes of additional time at the end of the Tamworth match, but there's only 5. I've already gone over that, so we have a 10-minute break and then we'll move on to the football side. Okay?